All right, I said I was going to film this video in one take. Unfortunately, my battery died. I was almost done on the home run stretch there, but I'm going to just sum it up here. This machine is, in almost every regard, very well designed and is a huge upgrade from the TM240A. However, it has some serious design issues that make it cumbersome and time-consuming to use the machine itself. I cannot leave this machine for more than 5 minutes without something going wrong. And so I'm always just sitting off to the side working on some other widget. Now, before, when I would place boards on the TM240A, the machine was taking up my whole time basically because it was so fast. You know, the old machine, the TM240A, could place the boards as fast as I could run them through the oven. This new machine, you know, 35 plus 38 minutes, 40 minutes to do 650 parts or whatever. Yeah, that's not as good. And, you know, I was optimistically saying previously that I'm doing 1,000 placements per hour. I'm not. It's probably in the 900s if everything is going well. But again, that hasn't happened yet because I'm doing a lot of hand holding on this machine. So the point being here, this machine would be exceptional and an exceptional price at, you know, the $4,000 if it didn't have this idler wheel issue, which is just very difficult to keep these tape peelers going well. You know, the film's getting stuck in the way. That issue needs a rethink, and the answer is, of course, sitting again right in our face, that the TM240A's design is not perfect, but it's really good, and the adjustment takes seconds instead of minutes. That's the number one complaint. Number two is, of course, the peeled tape getting eaten up in its own pulleys here, because what do gears like to do? They like to eat fingers and tape or whatever. You know, they're not going to hurt your finger, but they like, if something gets jammed in there, they're going to get jammed. That's just a secondary issue. That also goes away with this because you don't need it. The tape ends up on the reel. And the only cumbersome part there is that every time a reel is empty, you have to pull, you know, 15 yards of, you know, peeled tape off. It takes 10 seconds and then you're back in business. So, you know, I think Neoden could fix that. The optics, the place are great. Now there are, again, some firmware issues that are really annoying, especially if you don't know what's going on. And if you run into a corner case where you couldn't pick up a part, or you had a file read error, or whatever, and something seems wonky, turn the machine off and turn it back on. And if you're using the big IC camera mode, do that at the very end of your file, and then every time you use it, at the end when the board's done, you gotta turn the machine off and turn it back on. And I'm sure Neoden will fix that, because before I figured it out, it was so confusing. Like, why are my parts being wrong or whatever? And you know, I would literally start every board and, you know, okay, look, the first part is in the correct spot. Okay, before, I didn't know it at the time, but that means mode 3 was working, but I didn't know it at the time, and I'm like, oh wow, the part's off again? Don't know why. I'm gonna turn the machine off and turn it back on again. So if they could fix the actual picking part of pulling this film off, having the tray be, you know, the actual reels there being, you know, better 3D printed, higher dimensional accuracy, not having the Z height set up. These are all fixes that they could do. You know, again, change your 3D printer, change this design slightly so that, you know, you have the same TM240A design. If those were done, boy, this machine would be really, really, really great. But I'm reviewing the machine I have in front of me, and it is an absolute headache to use. And it's completely frustrating. Yeah, I've placed 23, 25 boards or whatever here. Whatever the number is, it's 15,000 parts, give or take. I should have been able to do that in one day. It has been well over a week to get where I am. And I think at this point, with all of the hand holding I'm having to do with this machine, I think maybe, just barely, it will be the same throughput as this machine, which is a decade old and has placed 4 million parts. So that's ultimately it, is that in its current configuration, specifically with the tape feeding issue, I cannot recommend this machine. I would think that if you were going to be going in this price range, that you could look at Lumen's or the Opulo open source machine. I have not used the machine. I do know someone who has and has spoken highly enough of it. At least they haven't come out with a ranty video for an hour plus, saying all the things that are bad about it. But I can say this, that the Lumen machine, I'm sorry, I don't know if that's the company or the model. It's Opulo, Lumen. They've had a couple name changes for various reasons. I think some of them legal. That machine is $2,000. It's sold in America, so you don't have to pay a tariff. And so it's $2,000 instead of $4,000 or $5,000. Now, of course, it doesn't come with any of the reels here, but you can buy their like 5-pack of their automated reelers that don't have the needle that has to come down. They literally have a motor in them, and so like your part gets there and it's just ready, and there's no tape peeling issue. I presume, again, I haven't used the machine, but because it's a per reel feeder, it'd be kind of hard to mess that up. Now, I say that in jest because I know they had a lot of development issues. That's, it's like, oh, it just moves the thing 4 millimeters. I understand that Steven has had to do a ton of work designing their thing. I'm not trying to discount that. But the point is, at the end of the day, they have a thing, a widget, that moves the thing 4 millimeters every single time. And you can buy a 5-pack of those for, it's under $500. I want to say, if you were to buy 20 of them, I think it would cost you like, $1,800 extra. Okay, so you bought 20 reels, so that's $2,000 for the machine plus $1,800 for the 20 automated feeders, which are going to be much faster. You don't have to have a needle that drops down, because literally your nozzle gets there, it just picks it up. And you don't have any of this feeding issue there. So you've spent the same amount of money. You have 20 active heads here. Maybe you'll spend $500, $1,000 more to get the same number of reels that are here. But now you have an open source machine, which you can change anything on if you don't like. You don't like the way it does X, Y, Z, you don't understand a feature, change it, get rid of it, fix it. I love open source. Everything I do, everything I've designed for at least the last decade, probably more than that now, is open source because it allows your community of people who are avid tinkerers who need to get stuff done or whatever. They don't have to go and be at the mercy of the manufacturer if something doesn't work. Something doesn't work, you don't like the way something is, just change it, redesign it or whatever. For Neoden, it's a closed source platform. I'm not going to go and make all of the effort to fix their solution there. Like, they don't have a GitHub that I can make a pull request on, right? Like, so, the incentive for me to take my time and improve their product isn't there. With the Lumen Opulo machine company, which one it is, I probably should have researched that before. I've been following them again, Steven. I really like his enthusiasm in his videos. And I can tell he has a vision for his product that I'm sure is here as well, but I don't see it on YouTube. I don't see monthly posts of here's this, here's that. Look, now we're doing this. Now we're doing circuit boards. Now it's doing this. Like, now we're doing lasers. Like, I love the enthusiasm he has there. And I really wish, so before I bought this machine, I was on the fence. Should I get this or that? And I decided to do this. And I probably should have bought the other machine. Because again, if I had had complaints with it, which I haven't used the machine. I've never seen the machine in person. Again, I know one person who has purchased it and said good things about it. That's the extent of my knowledge of it. At this point, I have this machine. I've already spent the $4,000+ $4,600, whatever it was, on it. I'm not going to go buy another machine and have to learn it. At this point, I have this one in a state where it's usable. It's an upgrade. I certainly cannot go back to this thing at this point because this had a lot of I'd literally have to adjust, hundreds of parts on every board, which I could do quickly, in 3 or 4 minutes because I'm just sitting there with a tweezer. On this machine, I'm not having to do that. If we can pick the part up on this machine successfully, it's going to place well with the big asterisk of as soon as you go into mode 4, it's going to intentionally, it's going to accurately place them all off in an X, Y, and a rotation on every single part, and you have to scrap the board. So all of these issues I've said are fixable, and I've already shown the fix, or at least described the fix for all of them. If Neoden implements those and wants me to do a follow-up review, I will gladly do it because honestly, until that happens, this machine is going to remain very frustrating to use. You can't leave. And again, 35, 40 minutes for a board, I can't go make lunch. Or if I do, I have to know that in 222 seconds or whatever, I'm gonna have some error where I come back and the machine is just sitting there. So a lot of hand holding, keeping this machine happy. That's it. Thank you for watching. I really wish that I had better things to say, because that would mean I wouldn't have wasted a week of time figuring all of this knowledge out. So as I said at the outset of this video, there is a lot of knowledge about this machine in the hour you just watched. So if you feel like you wasted your time and you have this machine, or are going to have it because it was purchased on your behalf or whatever, hopefully my review here would maybe prevent you from, or maybe make you consider my opinions and maybe not get this machine in its current state, and maybe look at supporting an open source product that I have not reviewed, but which seems substantially better, having used this one now for an entire work week and probably then some. That's the ultimate frustration here, is that I feel like I'm beta testing this product. And I'm willing to do that in an open source project. I have an open source project that has been in beta for more than 2 years, because I'm still developing it and selling it, and at least I'm open about it being in beta. And still having a lot of rough edges. This machine has especially the pick part of pick and place is bad on this machine in its current configuration. The place part, pick and place, the placing, thumbs up. The picking is frustrating beyond all reason, and I think that this design should have been scrapped. I don't know how you got through testing that, and here I'm just getting into bickering, but you have a solution. What was wrong with this? These are 10 years old. They still work just fine. I'm worried that if I'm still, God kill me, if in 10 years I'm still using this machine in its current state, I don't know that it's going to be holding up as well. We'll see. I think that the rubber inserts inside these wheels are going to be a finicky beast long term. I think this is going to be a very problematic thing, and if Neoden doesn't fix it, then I probably will begrudgingly do it. But I really wish that these were 1.5 millimeters thinner, because then I could literally just turn down some stock, or get maybe a 6 to 10 millimeter stainless steel sleeve and just tap it into here, and then I could put these on. And I have to change that as well. But you can see already just that description of like, oh, and then just do that. It's like, that's going to take someone a week to productize. And I hope it's not me, because I'm not getting paid the cost of this machine, which is about what I charge a week, to fix the design issues with it. So, I don't know. That's my overall review. I definitely would not buy this again in its current state. And again, if Neoden fixes this and improves it, you would expect to see a follow-up video from me on that, assuming that they provide the parts to me, which I hope they would. But that's all for now. Thanks for watching. I hope at some point to do a video that isn't so negative. I think it's probably going to be on the Amscope Trinoc inspection microscope that I just bought. That thing's awesome. I don't really have any complaints. I'm sure I'll come up with something, things that aren't perfect, but man, that's a nice thing. This is not. We'll see. Maybe in another a week of use, I will have hair left that I haven't pulled out. I think I've kind of got the ropes on it, and I can at least know when I just need to turn it off and back on again. So thank you for watching. Have a good day.